This video is breathtaking in the implications of what he is saying.
What most Americans know is that at the end of my campaign, when it appeared that Clinton was going to win, and certainly after she won the nomination, what the Russians were doing is flocking to Bernie Sanders' Facebook sites, and they were saying to Bernie Sanders supporters, as they were, by the way, to Black Lives Matter supporters, people who are fighting for social justice, as they were saying to the Muslim community, if you voted for Sanders, you have to understand Hillary Clinton is crazy, she's a murderer, she is terrible, all kinds of horrible, horrible things about Hillary Clinton. And it turns out that one of our social media guys in San Diego actually went to the Clinton campaign in September and said something weird is going on. Bernie's not in the campaign. Hundreds of these people are now coming onto his Facebook site. So I think we already knew that. It was an effort to undermine American democracy and to really say horrible things about Secretary Clinton.
Do you have an idea of how to prevent this going forward? I mean, this was a sophisticated sort that basically used the divide of the Democratic Party between you and Secretary Clinton at the time to polarize things even more.
Right. Look, first of all, the main point to be understood is that what everybody understands, except Donald Trump, is that this was not just the 2016 campaign. They intend to do this in 2018. And I think one of the weirdest things in modern American history is you have every intelligence agency, you have the Mueller report, you have Trump's own administration saying the Republicans want to sabotage the 2018 campaign. Everybody knows this except the President of the United States. Yeah. And I think people are asking, what is going on with this president? What we have got to do, and I think Senator Langford touched on some of the issues, front end, what we have got to say to the Russians, you are doing something to undermine American democracy. You are not going to get away with it. This is a major assault. If you do that, there will be severe, severe consequences. Right. We've got to protect states and communities to make sure that their voting is not compromised.
Okay, Senator Sanders. This is from me to you. That was repulsive. You know who is undermining democracy? You are, sir. You know who is undermining democracy? The CIA, the deep state, their corruption and their subversion of our wealth and subversion of our society. And they have been doing it through the likes of you. And we understand, Senator Sanders, this happens because this is a corrupt, fraudulent system, which does not operate in any of the ways that you just lied to your supporters, okay? You know, what is so repulsive about this is Senator Sanders still holds the highest rating of trust and credibility. When you use your trust and you use your credibility to lie to your constituents, to cover an internal crime that occurred in 2016 through flipping of people on changing their voter registration from one party to another so they couldn't participate in primaries, through absentee ballot stuffing, through Bill Clinton shutting down people showing up and campaigning illegally in precincts in my state, through an absolutely fraudulent process where the media colluded with the Democratic Party, with the Hillary Clinton campaign to coordinate with fraudulent exit poll companies while they they completely rigged the results. We had an internal coup in 2016. It was an internal crime. And it's really been a trip to watch Bernie Sanders, Dick Cheney, Lindsey Graham, Jeanne Shaheen, John McCain, Dianne Feinstein, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, and the entirety of the neoliberal and the neoconservatives alike align to shill this load of crap on the American people, to elevate a new neo-McCarthyism and watch everyone from Anna Caspian, who had just something about Black Lives Matter, be secretly Russians recently, to the trolls over on and the hacks over on MSNBC, such as Rachel Maddow and Chris Hayes. These people are traitors, okay? These are traitors. And the whole thing boils down to the fact that the very people that Senator Sanders is elevating in this and pointing to, Robert Mueller, Senator Sanders, the guy who was part of the Bush administration FBI, who went to the American people and testified that there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They're imprisoning people. You want to talk about undermining democracy? You imprison people to create war propaganda, Bernie Sanders, and you're telling people that we need to take his investigation seriously when it is a cover-up operation? I don't care whether you like Donald Trump or not. This is not about Donald Trump. This is the fact that we have fraudulent elections. The Russians were saying nasty things about Hillary Clinton. If you tell the truth about Hillary Clinton, it's nasty. It's nasty the fact that the Democratic Party ran a candidate who was under 2 FBI criminal investigations and would have been indicted if the law was actually followed. They had to change the interpretation of the law so that she would not be indicted. And you know what is such a outrage about this whole thing is that the real subversion, undermining of democracy, is to have a fraudulent election system where you have somebody who is a sheepdog and a shill for the Democratic Party who makes deals with them. We know that from the WikiLeaks that Senator Sanders had a deal about what he could say and what he could do. And this is not about Bernie Sanders because they all do it. This is more about us, that we stand with people who have no ethic and completely betray us in these ways. And then we still cling to them. And people are still people are going to vote for this? People are hoping for this in 2020? Is this what you want? We had a coup in 2016. People sometimes say, Debbie, are you still on that? Oh my God, I know. I'm so nitpicky about the fact that we had an entirely stolen election that was fraudulent from start to finish, that was being cheated for the likes of Clinton. They did not want Trump. The neoliberals endorsed Trump. The neoconservatives, the true power establishment within the Republican Party endorsed Clinton. The deep state, the CIA, the NSA heads, and the Republican donors gave her more money combined than all of the other Republican candidates before the election even began. When we had evidence, videotaped evidence on C-SPAN that Hillary Clinton's campaign actively cheated and was misdirecting and going against the rules of the Iowa caucus and cheating, Senator Sanders took to the debate stage the very first time and said that there was going to be no problem with looking at that, and that's, we have to look forward in the election. Let's look forward, not back, which at that point gave a green light to a cheat that went from the very first state to the District of Columbia. It was a fraud through and through. Senator Sanders didn't care that his own election attorney, Chris Souter, said not to certify the results in Arizona because they were fraudulent and it looked like there was a lot of corruption. He didn't care when Michelle Reagan, the Secretary of State in Arizona, came out and testified that there was election fraud in that election and that it looked like that people's voter registration rolls were being flipped. He didn't care about that. He didn't care when exit polls didn't match the official results in 11 of the 26 primary states polled. He didn't care when people repeatedly tried to contact his campaign and never followed up. I personally went and did 2 separate presentations per the request of people close to the campaign to give to Bernie Sanders to document my findings, which I have never received a phone call back. People used to call me during the campaign because I made this the central issue of what I covered. And they would say, Debbie, we can't get the campaign to listen to me. I listened to his crying supporters on the phone. Bernie Sanders isn't just covering up for the crimes that were committed in the 2016 election. Bernie Sanders is aiding and abetting so that they can commit crimes in the future. And that is what this Russia thing has been actually about and what I've been trying to tell you forever. What is happening right now is that a new, more effective system of cheat is being put in. It was found that 200,000 people were purged off the rolls and voter registration rolls in New York, and it was admitted to be a criminal offense. Senator Sanders is talking about the intelligence community. He's talking about these people behind the scenes. The people behind the scenes are the ones who are coordinating the cheats of elections, and Senator Sanders knows this. And then we have James Woolsey going to the Brennan Institute last spring and basically saying that we need changes in the way that we oversee voter registration rolls and our elections because of Iran, North Korea, and Russia. But if you have a system where you can't vote people in because the establishment power is so corrupt and they are so in with the voting machines and they have so much control through the private voting machines, and now the Department of Homeland Security is controlling the infrastructure and the voting storage locations and can conduct the decisions around voting machines based on security and lock people out of election meetings. You can't get any change because the people who are in power have rigged the systems so that you will only get people who are pro corporation, pro war, pro subversion of the people, pro New World Order. You know this, Senator Sanders, better than I do because you know you are shoveling your constituents a shovelful of shit. Senator Sanders is not just defending a past crime. He is aiding and abetting and is complicit with the future crime, okay? He is actively standing with James Woolsey. Who is James Woolsey? He was the CIA director of Bill Clinton from 93 to 95, and that is who was giving the opening speeches about what we need to do to change elections. Jake Braun from the Department of Homeland Security Liaison Office is the one who is outing voting machines. Why are they doing this? Why are they saying that it was Russia and Russia and Russia and Russia? Because it was them. They are the ones who cheated. And it was done for Hillary Clinton. I don't care if you don't like Donald Trump. This is a cover-up operation that you guys are engaging in espionage and treason. Okay? That's what everybody is starting to know. The reason that Sanders is so dangerous is because Sanders, who is a paid DNC operative, they hired him to do this. The DNC hired him as their outreach coordinator to go brainwash people, is that he is the one that people trust. Now, Senator Sanders is covering up for a crime that people should be losing their positions and going to jail over. And then he is now trying to help them so that they are able to subvert the system in the future so that there will never be a real election in this country again. We have moved past the days of having elections in this country, okay? That's the secret that nobody wants to talk about. Anybody here who does not back establishment power, you guys are Russian enemies and Russian trolls. Senator Sanders just made us the enemy. The people who are, that's what he did by equating us with Russia trolls, the people who actually fight the corrupt establishment power and who have been made into through things like the Countering Disinformation and Propaganda Act, where they use this neo-McCarthyism to say that they need to stop the fake Russia news. And they throw everybody in who challenges their power and makes us their enemy. This is what Senator Sanders has become.